Oh. I can move the mouse, but then the fact that a menu hasn't joined us yet is just a tad bit suspicious. Well, since we have a moment, hello everyone, and welcome to the Haunted Cities collection, the first of several actually. A collection of short horror games from creator Kitty Horrorshow. Now, I've actually played a game by this developer in the past titled Anatomy, and that game was so deep and dark and dripping with surprisingly well-conveyed themes. And from the look of it, this will be no different. The first of these games is titled simply Grandmother, and it offers no description except that it's made in the style of 90s DOS games. WASD doesn't do anything, but if it's a DOS game, yes, the arrow keys do. You know, I have to say, I really like the idea of going into a horror game not knowing what it's about. A fence post, a street light, but it doesn't do much beyond our immediate area. Seems like we ourselves have some ambient light, but we're always pushing into the darkness. This is the kind of thing that would be done just because the draw distance would be low in older games, but, well, it was creepy even then, and now it's being weaponized against us. I really do like that in the sea of faux retro games I played, this one seems to be committing to actually looking pixelated and old. It really does feel like I just scaled up like a 480p game into 4K, not even 480. Okay, there's a large barn structure here, but I don't see a way in. I am more than content to leave it behind, though. It's even got that sort of repetitive, subdued soundtrack that is sort of calming on its face, but coupled with the graphics and sort of the uncanniness of old games, it does set you on edge a bit. It's like the tension where you're waiting for something to happen. Enter house. Oh, we can use the mouse to interact. There we go. Oh. I don't know why, but I didn't expect to see a person in this house. That sounds kind of stupid when I say it like that. There's only static coming through the TV, but the music is a lot more soothing than what we heard out there. You seem to be nodding off, though. We can't speak with you. Do I want to break your trance? What was that? Is that just your breathing? Oh, I can hardly tell. You know what? I think I could use the ambiance. There we go. Look at that portrait on the wall. With the pixelation, I can't make out what it's supposed to be, but it looks like a worm or a millipede or something amid roaches. There's something on the table over there. Take knife. What am I to do with a knife? I can hardly see a thing. Is that a bloodstain along the wall? It looks blackened like an old one, but it certainly looks gruesome. You can read the book here on the table. You open to a random page. The boy came to a clearing where a great bloated tick wallowed in a shallow pond, and he found that he could not speak, for she had filled his mouth with leeches as he was running through the swamp. don't have the option to do what I thought it was going to tell us to do. So I guess we'll move on then. Well, knowing that we can click stuff, should I then go back to the barn? I believe it was just over here. Oh, but it's so hard to tell. This is like dream darkness, the kind where you just have to keep pushing in, and you're just cursed to never know what's more than a few feet in front of your face. Yeah, there we are, we can enter. And once more, it's just terribly dark and silent. I'm really hoping that came from outside. Well, now I'm gonna be thinking about something being out there with us. Can we not climb the ladder? Alright, let's leave then. But I don't like it. What happens if we try to go off the path? Our way is blocked by trees, and they obscure our vision quite quickly. You know, I've just realized something else that's setting me on edge. The lack of footsteps. No wind, no anything. It's just this environment and the soundtrack. Am I on a new path? I honestly can't even tell. I've just realized that the streetlights have completely thinned out. So now there's truly nothing ahead of us. Wait. Bodies hanging from posts? Kill blasphemer. Kill murderer. Kill lecher. I mean, the murderer certainly seems like the worst of the bunch. It was just the word feast repeating, oh no. There may not be any obvious source of light, but the whole forest is turned bright red. Wait, in this darkness, it's impossible to even follow the trail. But now there's something else. Wait, I can hear something. I think it's over on the left. A door? What happens if I try to enter the house now? Will I be able? Didn't you used to have a door house? Unless that is the house's door. Enter terminus. The end of the line? I can't look left or right, only forward, and in this narrow tunnel. The close walls coming at me and those pixelated graphics are like a kaleidoscope. I can't glance at the pillars of flesh to my sides. A sturdy bridge gives way to a feeble one. I mean, I can literally hear the screams of the condemned from below, and I'm about to join them. Have I made the wrong choice? We're just continuing on, a leap of faith. Maybe we did make the pious choice. The screams are deafening now. I know which house is yours. And the game just closes, and I'm essentially jump scared by my desktop. Plenty of games have tried it, but this really does feel like a haunted DOS game. And a big part of that is because it fully commits to the aesthetic of the era. It is truly low-res and pixelated, and not just low-res textures on a modern game. The soundtrack is repetitive yet eerie, and it's so dark and so pixely that you almost have to lean in and squint through the game to play it. It's so abstract in terms of what's going on here and the images that it throws at you, but not so weird that you just completely check out and assume it's all Looney Tunes, and so you get invested trying to understand what's going on. Oh, I've just discovered something new. One of those pillars right here on the landscape. I can't interact with it at all. By throwing you in with no menu, no guidance, not even a description, it puts you in the role of that creepypasta protagonist where you're just like, alright, this is kind of weird, let's see what this is. And then, when you're on the edge of your seat, right when it seems like something is about to be revealed, it just stops. And you're left staring at your desktop, and it's one of those things where it's like you don't even realize until it's over that you've been holding your breath the entire time. It's creepy on its face, but you don't realize how oppressive it is until the moment it's done and you don't feel that anymore. One thing I found interesting to note about weird games is that sometimes the title actually provides context for what you're seeing. This game is called Grandmother. This appears to be an old woman in front of the TV. Hard to tell if she's awake or not. In other words, the title is the only thing we have to go on to explain what we're seeing, and this scene is the only thing we have to go on to explain the title. And that final message, right before it crashes to desktop, I know which house is yours. All together without spaces, so you kind of have to look at it for a second to parse the message, and by the time you do, it's gone. It's as if this game is some fascinating creature that you've been observing from behind a two-way mirror, and it hadn't even occurred to you that it could perceive you, but right in that final moment before it's gone, it glances at you. I think that's what's so haunting about it in the end, is that it's something you don't understand but are fascinated by, and in the end you feel like it's seen you. But on to the next. Our next one is titled Penty, and the description reads, visit a historic floating shrine, learn its story, and that of the one who dwelt there. This one seems just a bit more fantastical rather than dark and oppressive. But it is certainly pretty to look at, and after what we've just been through, the soundtrack is still minimal, but actually quite heavenly. Music to my ears. Literally. Well, let's learn what this shrine commemorates. Now we can actually look around with the mouse and sprint and all that modern stuff. Ooh. The Island of Whispers. It is said that this was where she came to compose her songs, including the area which kept the Black Star from waking to engulf the sky. Popular legend tells that if one is to sleep here at the time of Aphelion, The stars were quiet enough to hear her singing. There's a pond over here. Now, what are these obelisks? They seem to be giving off light. And floating segments in the middle, each one rotating opposite to the one before it. And there are glyphs inscribed along their sides. Like these things contain knowledge or something. Almost like databanks. But it doesn't seem like we have any way to access that information. We can't have a seat here, which would be nice considering how beautiful this looks. Look at that. At first I thought it was just reflections, but it can't explain that texture on the side. This must be impossibly deep. The swords only help that perception. Even the text is reflected on the water. The Fountain of Ghosts. It was here that the swords first fell against her skin and opened her veins, which hemorrhaged the spirits she had housed within her heart. So many were the spirits that they welled within the wound and condensed like water to become a standing pod of lonesome wraiths. What happens if we try to step in? It's actually much more shallow than we think. It must be some kind of illusion, those seeming cave walls on the sides. Well, color me bamboozled. Let's climb out. The swords fell upon her skin. A monument to the destruction of something beautiful. There's another pool. The Great Henges. While it is not known for certain what drove her from the island, it is said that the swords were a beacon for the Grey Henges, which gathered in the air and surrounded the island as she slept. Most maintain that she gave her life to drive them away, while others believe that she was taken by them to the Well of Howls and thrown in. So from what I'm gathering, this was the home of some great protector, who in many ways kept the souls who resided here safe and eventually had to, in one last act of self-sacrifice, keep it safe one more time. I don't know good from bad, repaired to destroyed in this world, but I guess the fact that there's a monument here talking about these deeds means it worked, right? There doesn't seem to have been anything around the back, but maybe we can enter the castle itself? Oh, it was so beautiful from the outside, but this place that was the home of, I guess, something so good is now left dark and in ruins, totally silent except for our echoing footsteps on the floors. Is there anything to the sides? Potentially. The ceilings are so high on those sides I can't even see them. But something glows up there. I wonder if it's related to those rotating obelisks? It's not just darker, the sky is completely gone. As are the shrines. The obelisk's all torn down? Can we bring this back? It hurts so much. Don't make me go. Where are they taking me? Please no. I think the alternate theory about what happened to you is starting to be substantiated. What if I at least try and take shelter in the castle? Still find it the same as before. So there must be something I'm meant to do out there then, right? It's just as it was. Maybe what we were seeing is a more honest reflection of what this is commemorating. They view it as a positive event, almost like... These read the same as before. But maybe it's commemorated in such a way that sort of ignores the reality. The only thing I can think to do is to go over the edge at this point. So let's try it. It just brings us right back here. And I suppose anytime we move back and forth, that's going to change our surroundings, right? Yeah. After a bit of Googling, I'm pretty sure that's everything. And I really like this because it's running on dream logic in that it is pure emotion. It tells us a very simple story about this beautiful being who once inhabited this place, who kept things safe, who composed songs. It gives us this beautiful location that is so colorful even beneath the night sky, that angelic choir singing down to us from nowhere in particular, these reflecting pools that seem so unbelievably deep, yet when we step into them are shallow enough to wade in. And it takes all of this and imbues it with a sense of reverence, a sense of comfort beneath a magic castle from a being who was so protective that we feel their protection even though they're not here. We don't even have to understand any of it besides, this person was good, you are safe here. But with this last one, even though it all feels in the past and thus not dangerous, it introduces just a slight air of doubt with that description, saying maybe this wasn't entirely voluntary, but it's a fleeting thought. Then you say, okay, I'm gonna come explore the castle. It looks enchanted almost. But you come inside, and this is where the dream logic really kicks in. You find that it's dark, it's long abandoned, which you knew this person wasn't here anymore, so in that way, one idea connects to the next. But it's kind of creepy in here. You can no longer hear that choir. So you decide, okay, there's nothing here. I'm gonna go back to where I was before. That's where the good feelings are. And now you find that it's anything but. It's dark, there's harsh red lights creeping over the landscape. It's no longer steady as it once was. You finally find one of these tablets that was essentially telling you a nice bedtime story before. And when you say, speak comfort to me, it tells you I have none to give. It's the same story, but the alternate one, the worse one. Its story points are simple, but vague. And it makes sure that each one hits you with the full emotional force possible, rather than explaining anything. And in that way, you feel like you've been on this entire journey, even if when you wake up, you couldn't even begin to explain it. But I think it's time to try out the next one. Oh. Oh, we just started with our face against the wall. I thought that was going to be a menu. But I guess I've been fooled 3 times in a row now. Ooh. Oh, look at this. It's all black and white. The final game in the pack is called Leech Ball, and the description reads, explore an abandoned Midwestern factory town. Pitch bottles of blood at the walls to reveal hidden messages, and have fun in the farmhouse. This one might be right up my alley. Well, let's go up this alley. Botfly Road. Oh, it's actually communicating street names to us. But we don't need the black and white to let us know that this place is totally dead. These dark, overcast skies above us. I can practically smell the dust coming off these concrete walls. First Street. Cholera Avenue. This whole thing just screams sickness. And depression. Oh, wait, there's some kind of colored light over here. Can we enter the corner store? We can. Bottles of blood. I wouldn't have immediately identified them as such if the description hadn't told us. God. You ever hear a song in a dream? How either the lyrics won't make sense or the emotions will, but the words don't. This is kind of like that. Get a key. My goodness, dire cow leech. I can hear her blood. She is lurged with it. What are her secrets? Blood, 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 blood. Gorge yourself on blood. Never stop. Yes, good. These must be the shipments they arrive in. Leech meat. Gorge. Become succulent. Dig for victory. For their sakes, seek our mouths in the soil. Crawl between our teeth. There's a weird glow on the garbage bags in the corner. Am I supposed to take these things? No child can resist the glory of the divine pus. God. Meat. That's what you're made of. Keep that in mind. Crying won't help you. Nothing will help you. Your only hope for purpose is to feed them. Even the gumball machine is red. I mean, I suppose it does speak to an industrial message, right? How people are used up and then discarded when they're no longer useful, including entire communities. Lymph Street. There may be something else enterable right here. It's these red glows. That's what we need to seek out. We couldn't take them from the store, but we can take them from here. And we can only carry one at a time. Well, we can get them now. We have to literally paint the town red. . This is so strange. And anytime one of these things strikes a building, it's completely overtaken. On all sides, it coats the building. I guess we should try to get as close to everything as possible then, right? I think that one... No, we did find something. We could do a lot better with that blood than you are. And look at us, just compelled to run around splattering these abandoned buildings with blood. This is that dream logic that I am so fond of. And there's more of these stashes all throughout town. We can hear that strong... this is really hard to read. We can hear that strong heart of yours even down here. Room Street. And you know, this is a cumulative effort. The longer we go, the more distressing this town starts to look. Is it just me, or are those ambient moans, I suppose, getting louder, like they're closer? Are we drawing some kind of attention by doing all of this? This is such a unique concept, and this is why I love dream logic in games. Because it's something that all of us experience, that all of us can relate to, but we so rarely have to confront it analytically. But when someone is able to actually portray it like this, makes us break these ideas down into their components and why we're able to get it without getting it. Okay, what about you? That skin of yours looks awful tight. Okay, let's enter that building we were trying to enter. Where was it? It was over here, yes.
Do you remember some time ago in an Eastern scientific institution, they kept a piece of heart alive for weeks on end? Well, I got to thinking, what if that heart began to grow? And grow, and grow, and grow.
Hello, operator, give me Mr. Regan, fast. Hello, Mr. Regan, this is Lewis. Listen, get me a rewrite, man. The thing's still growing. No, Chief, I tell you the truth, the corridor's choked with living, crawling flesh. No, I'm not drunk. I'm telling you the truth. That little piece of flesh has grown until now it's jamming that building. All inside the space of an hour. You've got to believe me. It's the greatest news story of the generation, and here you argue with me. I tell you it's the truth. You've got to believe me.
You must believe me. I tell you the only hope is to burn the building to the ground at once.
Now, wait a minute, Doc. Wait a minute.
Take it easy. I tell you, burn it to the ground. Burn.
And I tell you, take it easy. I sent in a call.
Oh, don't you understand? For some reason, I cannot even imagine. This tissue is doubling in size every hour.
All National Guardsmen report to your armories. All National Guardsmen report to your armories.
This sounds like it's audio from an old movie or something. Everything they do is based around meat, blood, the heart. At first I wasn't sure if we were listening to this town's black box, but I suppose we might as well be. Everything tastes better with blood. Be careful with that thing, it looks like you poked your eye out. Oh, when we come outside, everything is reset. But we can bring those messages back, can't we? Huh. This whole game just has such a feeling of despair over it. Like, this place was never good, but somehow the hollow shell of a dystopia is even worse because it's too late. It'll never get better, it'll never improve, it's just over. An ocean would spill out of you if you would just open up. If we come out here, we can actually just wander beyond the city limits. Quite far, in fact. I don't want to be too far away from that. The pipes of whatever refinery is over there are pretty much the only thing that can guide us back amid these dark skies. That building is completely covered. Not covered enough yet. I can actually hear something inside. It's all of these derricks that are enclosed. It's like we're pumping this blood straight out of the earth itself. Okay, well, if we come down this way towards that refinery, I believe there may be something we can do. I mean, since we can get out of bounds in so many places. Something here as well. We could teach you to sing like us. Our mouths are open. Oh, we can actually approach it. Leech Bowl Road. But there don't seem to be any doors. Maybe what this place needs is a little bloody vandalism. Oddly enough, it doesn't seem to have done much. All the better to drain you with. It's like we're being taunted, but we're constantly chasing those taunts. To talk about dream logic once more, it's like that task that we feel compelled to do, even with no logical reason to do so. Like something wants to eat us everywhere we go, and we're being treated like we're the weird ones for not being down with that. Okay, what does happen if we just run off into nothing? I mean, sooner or later we've got to make the decision to just leave, right? Oh, there's just a wall on the edge. Okay. But there must be something somewhere, right? Think how much warmer you'd feel in our stomach. It's like we're just constantly seeking out this hostility, even though we know the result. And it's the taunts of something which is long gone. The place is abandoned. We don't have to worry about it, but somehow those words still manage to make us feel this way. That's the cool thing about dream logic, is that it basically allows you to process new emotions that don't even exist otherwise. Like fear from the threats of a dead enemy. Following the road out of town is probably a good bet, right? Right after we check one last thing. There's nothing here for you but a place between our teeth. Well, I know when I'm not wanted, so I'll strike it out on my own. This is the value of games like this, these short experiences that don't need to be commercialized at all, is that you can explore them not as even a means to tell a story, but a means to convey a feeling. Oh, this must be the farmhouse we've heard so much about. Let's see if I can long arm it from here. Came up short. The only thing away from the city. Maybe things are different here? Certainly no less strange if the placement of the windows is anything to go by. Hold on. We're right back where we started. But the city is alive again. Sort of. I was just trying to see, in the brief glimpses as the light passes over, whether it was getting bigger like on that radio play. There's some mass of flesh just in the center of the city. No. Oh, I don't want to touch that. I don't want to touch that. It's like it's erupting from the wells. Oh, I can walk on this flesh. But can it take us somewhere? Straight up onto the rooftops, that's where. And straight back down again if I miss a jump. I've managed to feel my way around in the dark back to the farmhouse, where the fence is down. Thankfully the house itself is still here. Is there anything else? I guess I just go back in. It's much like the toggle going through the castle in Penty. All it is a switch that changes from one state to the other. Alright, but there was one more thing I wanted to try because I realized I neglected to do it when the world changed. In the middle of those terrible sirens again. It's like being in the middle of an air raid or something. This is the scariness of just being robbed of your senses, of being in all senses panic while having some of those senses deprived. But over there, that's what I want. I tried to make my way to the refinery, but I ended up on the other edge instead by the end of it. Maybe there's something to do with it now? It was a bit suspicious that there was nothing before. Although it's weird that I'm hitting trees before I hit the building. Where's that gate? I think I'm going the wrong way. Here. You have doors now. Look at it. Like overflowing from tanks, congealing around it. I don't know if that's gas escaping from the pipes or if this substance actually seems to be breathing. Is this the canvas for the final message? My God. Gotta keep feeding those leeches, baby girl. And just like that, it closes out, much like grandmother. I guess she understands the value of a crescendo immediately ripped away from you. A way to leave you shocked and contemplating everything that just happened. I have to say, Anatomy was a much longer and much more, not concrete game, but one that was a bit more clear in its themes. With this, it is so open to interpretation, but it's one of those things where, like Dream Logic, you get it without getting it. You understand these things intuitively rather than through any exposition, and that is a really special skill for a developer to have and to communicate it well. And just because I brought it up a lot, I should clarify that when I talk about dream logic in this context, I'm not saying that these are based on or inspired by dreams, or that they're not able to make any kind of literal sense. All I mean is that that's the way the story is conveyed to you, or at least the setting. I am a huge sucker for intuitive experiences that can make sense without making sense. And it's because we all have dreams, but we're not all good at communicating them. And when you have that talent for communicating dream logic, the thing is you quickly find that other people can get on board, even if you never would have expected them to. And I'm really glad that this creator has been able to find a following in that. And if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try these games out for yourself, the link will also be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, that link will be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one.